Welcome back, everybody. I'm Peter from Peter's Living Room here on the World Entertainment and Information Network. I just want to remind everybody, if you're listening on WEINetwork.com and you're enjoying what you hear, you can go on Facebook. And if you go to WEI Network on Facebook, you can actually see us streaming on Facebook Live. And for those of you who don't know how to do that, just go to facebook.com/WEI Network. Like the page, and you'll get notified every time we go live. And on Thursdays, that's what we do. All our guests, we go live on Facebook, and it's there. Moving along, as I said, we've got a lot of afternoon to go. I've got with me John Riddle. John is from Progressive Self-Defense Systems. And how are you, John?
Doing great, Peter. Thanks for having me.
You know what? My pleasure. I was really pleased to see that you were one of my guests today.
I'm happy to be here. We've crossed paths before.
Yes, we have. And, you know, if anybody who's been listening for a while ever heard me talk, whenever guns and gun control and responsibility of, carrying a gun pops up, I tell a story of when I was in a training session and I said time out, and the person running the session said there are no timeouts during a gunfight. Well, that person was John Riddle. When I did it, and it's been years, it's been quite a few years. It's been quite a few years. Guns were like, there was the self-defense thing was going on, but nothing like it's been the last year, months, whatever it's been. It just seems any subject you talk about in any part of the country, safety and guns pops up as a concern.
Absolutely. It started with us in my business personally. It started at the election.
Yeah.
During the election, people didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we were getting inundated with people wanting to get their carry concealed firearms license. So we were accommodating people that wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And then from there, because we do a reality-based handgun program
right
at our school, people started looking into that. And they're saying, when we train and we go out, whether it be on the square range, we call it outside, or at the indoor range, on the corner store ranges, we can only shoot paper targets, and it's fine. It's got its purpose, but what is it like to engage someone in a confrontation where a weapon appears? And then when I say a weapon, I'm talking maybe somebody comes at you with a knife or they pull a gun on you. What do we do?
Right.
And how do we react to that?
Right.
So,
because that person's moving. They're not stationary.
Absolutely. And they're already, I always tell my students, that person who is going to engage you in a threatening manner already has it planned out. There's already a plan there in place.
Yeah.
We are always trying to catch up.
Right.
And how do we do that?
Right.
Okay. How do we practice to try to stay ahead of the game? So I incorporate a lot of talks on situational awareness.
Yeah.
And being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. That is key. Side note, I remember years ago, my ex-wife, before she was my wife, we were living in Manhattan, and she wasn't from New York. I am. And we walked down the street, actually from Central Park to Columbus Avenue.
Okay.
One long city block. When we got to the corner, I said, okay, what did you see? And she saw really nice curtains in one of the windows, a nice lamp. There was a mother, rocking a kid in a stroller. I said, oh, so you didn't see the guy under the cardboard box. You didn't see the guy kind of going through the garbage in the entryway to the building.
Right.
She saw all the pretty things.
Absolutely.
I saw the street.
Yeah.
And I guess that
back
could
to
be my upbringing, without a doubt.
Absolutely. It has a lot to do with your upbringing.
Yeah.
And your situational awareness. Situational awareness is something that when I first started talking about it, because my background as a police officer,
Right.
you know, for 28
And
years.
so people know you're a police officer. You were on the SWAT team. You trained the SWAT,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I was with SWAT for 16 years out of
Yeah.
my 28 years in the agency. I was a trainer. I was a firearms trainer.
Right.
I was a self-defense instructor for law enforcement also.
Right.
Taught at the police academy. Sat on a board that FDLE put together,
Yeah.
and I assisted in rewriting the defensive tactics program for the Palm Beach County police academies.
Right. So you know a thing
I'm sorry,
or
the
two.
state
Yeah.
police academies, not just Palm Beach County,
Yeah.
but the whole state of Florida.
So you know a thing or two.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
A little bit.
Okay. So let's get back to today. You know, the world today. Awareness, being aware of your surroundings.
Being aware of your surroundings it's a proven fact that if I'm more aware of what's going on around me,
Yeah.
I can intercept a situation that may be starting to develop.
Right.
I see it, I intercept it, and then I change my direction,
Right.
which may be something as simple as turning around and going the other way.
Right. So basically, you're walking down the street, and there's a group of guys.
Right.
I mean,
Soon as
seedy characters.
As soon as I see
Don't
these
keep
guys-
walking past them.
Right. If there's something that scratches the back of your brain and says, hey, you may not want to walk down this street.
Right.
You may not want to walk down this alleyway. Don't
do it. Right.
Okay. And I tell my students in seminars that I run, I've interviewed people as a police officer in local hospital ERs.
Yeah.
Right. And, how did this happen? Well, I cut down the alleyway because I wanted to take a shortcut to get back to my car.
Yeah.
I knew I shouldn't have done it. They're the famous last words. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but. And now you fast forward, you're laying here at the ER waiting for the doctor to come in and check your damage.
Right.
Right. Whereas we have to start listening to that sixth sense,
Right.
or our gut feeling, as we call it, and pay attention to it. A lot of people just push it off. It's nothing.
Mhm.
Well, it could turn out to be something. So it's better to be safe than sorry, as
Right.
we say.
All right. So, out of curiosity, again, with today's atmosphere, and then since the Parkland shooting, which seems it was the catalyst. I mean, there were plenty of, school shootings before that hit the news, ran for the week and disappeared, basically, from media. This one seems to have started national attention and a movement and government getting involved because of the movement. And one of the things is, it's not talking about, going after the vetting or the mental illness or the cracks that are in, like, the FBI, the databases,
Right.
where, like they said, they should have known about this. This kid should have been put away. They knew about him. Do you think, we spoke about, like, teachers, arming teachers. Personally, I'm against it. I don't think it's the right answer.
Right.
But has teachers come to you or authorities?
I've had a couple teachers come to me wanting to learn.
Yeah.
Wanting to learn self-defense,
Yeah.
wanting to learn how to handle a firearm. And when I inquired as to why and to what level, so basically, why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And I ask everyone that, whether it's a firearm or not, but it's, because of the way society's going today,
Yeah.
and I'm a school teacher. Well, okay, I understand that. And you're a school teacher, but the schools are not going to let you carry a firearm inside the school unless Palm Beach County or Broward County School Board all gets on board and the state government gives the okay. You're not going to be able to carry a gun in school. So let's look at, teaching you self-preservation, self-protection for outside the school, right? Making you more aware of things that are going on,
Right.
and take that into the school, your awareness level into the school, and look around in your classroom. If you're in that classroom every day, what can you do to reinforce that classroom if something happens?
Right.
Okay. And people ask me a lot about arming teachers. I, for one, am for it, but they have to be trained. This isn't a concealed weapons class. Okay. It's not a 4-hour or a 5-hour concealed weapons class where they get their little license and they never train again. Okay. This has to be a thing where they get in-depth training, and I'm talking weeks of training. And then once that's done, I would not expect a teacher, if an active shooter starts in their school, to grab that handgun and go outside the classroom and start chasing the bad guys down the hallway. That's not their job. It's not their job. My thought is they stay in the classroom.
They're there to protect the classroom in case he comes in.
They're the last line of defense for their kids. You know, they have responsibility to those kids, not only in teaching, but in defending them in that classroom. I don't want a teacher running down the hallway doing that and putting themselves in harm's way. Plus, looking at all of the things going on in between that. You know, how often do people go to the range and shoot moving targets?
I would think not often.
Very rare. Okay. How often do they go into a place where they're disoriented and try to engage targets?
Right.
Very, very rare. Okay.
I've never done it, but I've always found it interesting when I've seen on video or on TV where the guy's there with his firearm. I think it's usually police or something else practice, and they've got like walls and stuff, and somebody would pop up and it would be a bad guy, or the pop-up might be a woman with her child, and you've got to shoot the bad guy and not shoot the woman, not shoot the wrong person.
Absolutely. It's a decision-making.
Yeah.
It's a decision-making course, and reactionary decision-making course. We do that at my school with live people. Okay,
but not live bullets.
Not live bullets. No, I've run out of people.
Right.
But no, we use simunition. Simunition is a marking cartridge.
Right.
That I fire out of Glock handguns, and I have a team. My fiance Lee, and I have 5 other guys that are trained up to be able to. They're role players and they're safety officers in what we do, and we run scenarios in the school from home invasions to robberies, to carjackings. We do them inside the school. We do them outside the school in the parking lot. You got to come by.
All right. Yeah, I have to see what's going on. Just for people out there, listen, when I went and I took the course, and what are the bullets called?
It's called simunition.
Simunition. And it's like a regular bullet, but with paint.
Right. It travels at 350 feet per second.
So he had me walking. He showed me about changing a cartridge. I had the cartridge in the belt. A magazine. Okay. Magazine. Okay. And he had me walking, shooting, and popping out and changing the magazine, but moving, from left to right, forward, and left to right, backwards. And the mannequin, like a rubber mannequin, I guess.
Right.
It's a mannequin, right?
Yeah, you're shooting Bob.
Yeah, I was shooting Bob. And I was very pleased. I mean, there was a lot of paint on his body. I was very pleased with that. But with the jam, and I still laugh. I still laugh at it, and I know I said it before. I jammed. I couldn't get my gun unjammed, and I called for timeout. And no timeout.
You gotta fight. No. Now, when stoppages occur, you have to learn how to clear those.
Yeah. The teachers, I understand, and I really understand what would be the responsible way of doing that and making them the last line of defense.
Yeah.
What about the training for the kids? Is what you hear? My kids aren't in school now, and I'm not involved, so I don't know firsthand. But when you hear what they're told to do, is that really sufficient?
Well, what they're told to do, they're told several different things. And I've talked to kids that are in my kids' class at the school. And they say, well, our teacher we have a smaller class, so our teacher puts us all in a closet. We all go into this closet. Some of the kids say, we get down under our desk. Or we knock the desks over and we hide behind those. Another kid told me we get way up against the wall where the same side of the room is where the door is, so we can't be seen. And I said, okay, but they're trying to work with what they have. It's unless you make the room completely a ballistic room where they it's they can't shoot through the walls, they can't shoot through the doors or the glass. You're going to have to do the best you have, or the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the teachers and the school staff are trying to do that. But if you have a child and you send them off to school every morning, okay, and you pray to God nothing like this ever happens again,
right?
Okay, but if God forbid it does happen again, those kids have to follow the standard operating procedure of the school that they're in,
right?
Okay.
There was I don't remember where, I want to say in the Midwest, they called it the safest school in the country. And I would say Midwest because of the Tornado Alley and everything. Sure. They basically have tornado rooms in the school, and they're using those rooms as the safe room.
Perfect.
In case of an invasion.
Perfect. Yeah, and you got to look at, is there one of those? I don't know, but is there one of those rooms, safe rooms, in every classroom?
Right.
Or do they have to leave the classroom and get
to the safe room? Right.
Which is going to be time and exposure.
Right.
Right. So, we look at this and we say, okay, when this is going down, when this is happening, where is everybody? Yeah. Where's everybody going to? Where are they coming to help us?
Right.
Right. I think one of the things that everybody has to get on board with is that the police, an active shooter situation usually takes anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes, and it ends. It ends either by somebody killing the shooter or the shooter killing himself.
Right.
Okay. But within that time frame, that short time frame, a lot of things are happening.
Havoc.
It's havoc. Yeah. And at that time, people are calling the police. Police have to get there.
Right.
Okay? So I'm a police officer and I'm at Butts Road and Glades at lunchtime.
And you're not getting anywhere too quickly.
High.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not getting anywhere too quick.
Right.
All right. So the officers that have other zones have to start coming.
Right.
Right. Now, right after Columbine High School set history for us with active shooters. Okay?
Right.
In 1999, Littleton, Colorado. These two kids went in with 2 bags with propane tank bombs on timers, and they set them to go off at 11:17 in the morning. They failed. So then they went in with guns and started doing their deed. Okay. This changed history for law enforcement, because before law enforcement, before it was known as active shooter, law enforcement would stage, set up a perimeter, and call SWAT.
Right.
And they'd have to wait for SWAT guys to get there because, like they say, when cops need help, they call SWAT. Right.
Right.
And for any police officers who are listening. But since Columbine, and they did a after action on Columbine to find out how they could cut the time down, training for law enforcement has changed quite a bit. Now, since then and up to today, when law enforcement responds to an active shooter, they have to go right in.
Yeah.
They have to, I get there, you get there, and Tom gets there. We have to grab our weapons, our rifles, or our sidearms that we already have, and we have to go in. And we have to go to the sound of that gunfire and terminate that shooter. All right. And the hardest thing about that when we were practicing this is we have to understand we have to step over people. We might have kids, we might have teachers down, crying, screaming, bleeding, and we have to keep going. And it's the hardest thing for us to do and see that, because we're so used to stopping and helping. Right.
Yeah. So
we had to change our mindset. Now, is it a natural thing for a guy or a gal to run towards gunfire?
No.
Okay. So, but it is part of our job. That's what we signed on for.
All right.
Okay.
With the time we have left, not everything you do is teaching people how to use guns. Like you said, it's self-defense.
Absolutely.
How could people get in touch with you? And this doesn't have to be gun enthusiasts. This is the average person who wants to make sure him, his family, his friends are safe in case of an occurrence. How do they get in touch with you and find out what classes you have?
Okay. They can give me a call at area code 262-7840. They can go to www.progressiveselfdefensesystems.com to check out the website. I'm also on Facebook at Progressive Self-Defense Systems. And you can get on the website, you can see video, still shots, and read about all the classes that we have. And if depending on what you want, sometimes I have people come in that have special issues, and I can help people with those types of issues also. But no, it's not just guns. I was a weapons specialist in the military. I was an instructor in the Air Force, and I was an instructor all through my police career. The hand-to-hand came in years ago. When I was a kid, I started studying martial arts, and I've run with it ever since. So if you're not a gun enthusiast, doesn't matter.
Right.
Pepper spray classes.
It's self-defense.
It's all self-defense.
It's not guns. It's self-defense.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Progressive Self-Defense Systems, John Riddle. And you're located
I'm at 1000 Northwest 1st Avenue in Boca Raton,
right?
33432.
Easy to get to.
Easy to get to. We have a 2,000 square foot combatives room and a 2,000 square foot simulator house.
Right. All right. You can have parties, birthday parties in the simulator house.
If I get thrown out of the house, I can.
Yeah, right. I say that about the studio because I've got everything but the shower at the studio, and I have a health club right down the road. So anyway, thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
great
Peter.
seeing you.
Thanks for having me.
Again, listening to Peter's Living Room here on the World Entertainment Information Network, and we've got more afternoon to come. We're going to take a quick break, send you out a little information and some trivial nonsense, and we'll be back with more guests coming up. Don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back.